Alright guys, gals, and everything in between, sorry this video is getting out to you extremely late. If you follow me on Twitter or Facebook, you know that I have been dealing with a electrician mechanic guy and he completely screwed up my set for a while and I had nowhere I could even film. I still actually am having to like MacGyver the crap out of this whole area I'm filming in right now. The guy thought it was a genius idea to blow a hole in the freaking ceiling in the middle of kind of winter. So I had literally like, there was just a hole in my roof where I film and I was like, thanks dude. And he's like, I'm gonna go home for a day since you don't have a daughter. Oh, well thanks. Alright, cool. Awesome. So, without further ado, I finally got around to watching Ash vs. Evil Dead, and my first thought was, gotta review it for you guys! Ash vs. Evil Dead, Episode 3. Not sure on the title on this one, I'll look it up. Nonetheless, we start off in the beginning of the episode with this strange, mysterious woman, and we don't know who she is. Personally, I think it'd be really cool if she was one of the former love interests in the Evil Dead series. I think that would be rad. I don't know who she is, but she clearly talks to Deadites, and they know who she is, and she's like pummeling him on the cross, and she's like, I can make this more painful for you, and cuts him up, and blood ensues. Opening titles. I love the blood in the opening titles, as I vocalized before. Continuing that, we start with one of my favorite jokes, which is Ash in the car with Pablo, and I still can't remember her name. I mean, she's had like less than 5 minutes of screen time, so it's understandable, but she's really cool. I like her as a character. But he's just like, alright, I'm a lone wolf, I need to do this alone. And you know, if we rid the world of this evil sooner than later, Pablo, we might even have time for churros. And then he continues with one of the funniest things that I can relate to because of stories I've heard from people in my life. And he's like, that's not a racist thing, Pablo, it's just churros are a wonderful dessert. And Pablo turns and is like, you know I'm not Mexican, right? And she's like, that's the spirit. I love that because I have friends and people very close to me who are of Mexican descent, and one of the biggest pet peeves that a lot of people who are not Mexican is that that they just get called Mexican because they all look Hispanic, and so they're just assumed as Mexican. And that's a pet peeve of theirs, and so when I saw that I was like, oh, I can relate to that. We're just the white people. So I love that joke. I was my sides were splitting in laughter because I was like, that's freaking great. We got that joke put in here somewhere. And churros, because you know, churros are just a wonderful dessert that I too like to indulge in, and I almost did the other day, but my bill got way too expensive, so fuck that. Either way, we also, as a turn of events, I thought maybe they were going to team up and be like partners and stuff, but then the cop lady is already in the bookstore, and Ash walks by and she's like, you look mighty suspicious. And he goes in there and the guy's like, whoa, this is the Necronomicon. He's like, yeah, I know, so where's the undo button? And he's like, well, I don't know, they didn't really exactly write an undo button in here. And so they're going around, and then Pablo sees the cop get the gun, and he's like, oh my god, she's got a gun. And he runs in there, and as she's about to arrest Ash, he just hits her over the head, and he's like, oh god, she's a cop? It was self-defense. Oh my god, we're making cop jokes on this show. This is hilariously awesome. This episode was pretty simple, I noticed, and I liked that simple story because it keeps the pacing really good. And this episode wasn't exactly a filler, like important stuff happened, but it was like one plot point, and that was our focus for this whole episode. And so they lock her up, and Girl is guarding her. So they go in there, and Ash has the genius idea of let's summon a really weak demon so we can deal with this. And Pablo's like, doesn't that sound like a terrible idea, summoning something from like hell to be here so you can interrogate? He's like, Pablo, it's alright, I've got this, I'm Ash and I'm kind of badass. You should have seen me in Burn Notice. They find one where it's like, oh, look at this one, it's kind of puny from its drawing. So then they go on this long discussion. You see the Evil Dead shot with the woo through the forest, and they're moving around, and things are moving, and he's like, Ash, you sure? He's like, yeah, this is a good idea. Yeah. Uh-huh. As then it summons, and it's like a freaking imp from Doom! And I was like, it's an imp from Doom! This week, 2 times did we get Doom ripoffs. We got Doctor Who with the most boring Doctor Who episode I've seen since that one on the school in like the 1800s, and then we got this imp, and it was awesome. It's like this awesome imp meets the Hell Knight from Doom, and it just shows up, and Ash is like, yeah, what the fuck is that thing? It starts, it's like, who dares disturb me? And I love the way they got it to look. Because in motion, it's got like this jitteriness where it's almost like someone's shaking the camera on it, but everything else is still. So it's almost like it's not quite in reality, but yet it can like teleport through reality. It made it feel that much more supernatural. It wasn't so out there because there was like what looked like a practical effect of this imp there. But yet at the same time, it had just enough to maintain that supernatural shit that we love. As they're fighting it, as they're talking to it, Ash is kind of like, well, you know, we need to find a way to undo this. And he's kind of like, well, let me out and I'll do that. He's like, oh no. So what goes wrong? Well, the girl lets out the police officer because she's like, you have no idea what's going on here. And she's like, well, let me out and I can maybe fix this for you. And they're like, okay, lets him out, and lo and behold, she comes in there and she starts trying to arrest Ash. She's like, lady, are you serious? She's like, what's that? Exactly! So why don't you deal with it? And then I'm like, oh my god, this is the dumbest police officer ever right now. There is a monster in the room that he is clearly trying to stop. And then, lo and behold, she knocks Ash over, and just the oh god moment happens, where you just see that line from the circle of devilness, and it like crosses, and that tension, I nearly crapped myself, because all of a sudden it was like, boom, and you just see it look down and look up at Ash, and Ash is just kind of like, oh god. This thing just teleports and starts beating the crap out of him, and like I love that he like grabs the face, and Ash is like, ah, and they like shoot, and the camera goes inside his brain, and you see like brain vessels bursting and stuff, and it like cuts back out, and he's like, ah, and they're each trying to take this thing down, and Pablo's like, it's time for me to be a hero, and he runs over there and is trying to fight it, and they're both getting like mind fucked. And I love this because it shows that even this weak demon, we can barely fight it. Like, this thing is beating the crap out of our heroes, and it shows that our heroes are a bit bumbling at the same time. And as they're going about, they're fighting it, and Ash tries to aim the boomstick, but it teleports. And then it uses the glass and kills our summoning guy as he's trying to return it to the book. This is where our Deus Ex Machina moment happens. Is the girl runs over and grabs the book because Pablo just shot the thing in the head, and he's like, nice shot, Pablo. Grabs them both, mind fucking them both, and then the girl grabs the book and Deus Ex Machinas the thing and just smacks it with the book, and it poofs into a cloud of ash, and it's back into the book. Now, I was actually okay with this because of the pacing of the show. Now, I always thought Ash could read at least a chunk of the book phonetically, but either way, never before explained, you can just smack the Deadites with the book. No idea how that works. Maybe they'll explain it in the next episode. I was okay with it. It was a bit stretching the truth, but I'm okay with it because it's not the finale. If this was like the season finale and she just went smack and then he just like poofed, I'd be like, what the fuck was that? But I'm okay with it because of the fact that this is like episode 3. So I want to say it's a 10 episode season, so we're about 30% of the way through the season. So we're not even halfway yet. So it's something that can be established, but that's one of those moments that, for those of you who don't know, it's called a Deus Ex Machina moment, where you're just like, when was that established? Like the Eagles in Return of the King. They are Deus Ex Machina. So that is what I have to say about the episode. I loved it. They handcuff the cop chick at the very end to the table, and then the other guy's a Deadite. She's gonna break out somehow, because I doubt they're building this character up and they're gonna kill her off in episode 3. But I think she realizes that Ash isn't necessarily a bad guy. So she's gonna have to deal with that complex of what side of the law does she need to take for this? And of course, I have a feeling she's going to end up siding with our heroes and become a, what did they call them? The Ghost, not Busters, but they called him something else that he wanted to call his gang. And Ash decides he can't be a lone wolf anymore, he needs their help. He can't just be Ash versus Army of Darkness anymore. This is Ash and his team having to take him down, and I like that. We're getting Ash with companions because he's getting a little older, he can't necessarily do it himself. He can do most of the heavy lifting, but he can't do it himself. And so obviously this cop character is going to eventually be someone in a team, but I'm really curious to also see if they explain that book where you can just smack the Deadites on the head and they're just gone. So, what did you guys think of the episode? Sorry this episode was late. I'm not gonna do that again, is my hope, because generally speaking, I get these videos out to you consistently, as you know, except for the Doctor Who people, they're probably pretty mad at me right now. So, either way, what did you guys think of the episode? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got plenty more videos coming to you. If you're curious of what I've been up to behind the camera, I've actually been directing another one of my short films, Holmes University 4, Origins of the Fall is the title, and it's been really fun. We're talking about doing like a limited theater screening. It's going to be exciting, it's going to be cool, I'm excited, can't wait to show you more. I'm actually posting a photo in the background here of a piece of the short film. Really excited, can't wait to show it to you. But otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe. Can't wait to do more videos for you. I'm going to review Mockingjay Part 2 either tomorrow night, or, well, tonight or tomorrow. So either way, stay tuned. Got that video coming to you.